Yeah, I'm John Greff. I currently have 7 operating locations in the Work at Anytime franchise, as well as a number of other development rights for additional territories. So when I got into this, I didn't have a clue. Honestly, I had no clue what I was doing. And my first gym, when I bought it, I was still working the oil field, but I very quickly realized I needed to retire from the oil field altogether and put 100% of my energy into my business. Mm-hmm. And so for about a year, I actually worked the front desk of my gym. And I was there, I swear, I was there 17 hours a day, right? Cleaning toilets, talking to members, making phone calls, working on advertising, everything. And so what we did was I found a lot of the things that I thought were really important to people, right? Mm-hmm. And we really focused our attention on those things, right? And so if I can define what's made us successful as a multi-unit franchisee, we are very focused on engagement with our members, and we're very focused on engagement with the community to bring new members in. These are probably our 2 biggest focuses every day. Me and my staff, we probably spend 70% of our time each day focusing on these 2 things. And then thirdly, I'm a bit of a Scrooge. And I don't mean that I don't want to spend any money. It's just literally every dollar that I spend has a calculated ROI. And so if I'm not going to receive a certain ROI on an investment, then I will find an investment that will give me the ROI that I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And so we really focus our attention inside my locations, not on just doing everything that we possibly can, but spending 99% of our energy and resources on the things that are going to have the biggest impact on the bottom line. I would say definitely take the time when you have a single unit to learn every aspect of the business. So, we're different in that, for example, we don't use an ad agency. We don't use anything like that. We produce all our own content. We do all our own targeting. We create all of our own audiences to target. We do everything internally. And it's a lot easier to learn how to do those things with a single unit than it is with multiple units. So it's really important to focus when you have one unit on maximizing the per unit economics of that single unit. Because if you can't produce a multiple times more than what you need to live off of, then you may not be able to successfully operate multiple units. Every unit that you add on after your first unit will become slightly less profitable. And that's just due to the fact that no matter how good your staff are, they're never going to be as good as the owner, right? Mm-hmm. Or that's the hope. I would think that most owners would definitely have more energy and charisma towards the success of their own business than any employee that they could ever hire. And we've done well in developing our staff and getting some really great employees. And I can't say that I can do this without my team. My team is everything. But what I'll say is that you need to learn how to do everything yourself and understand the core principles of your business. And after that, if you've got great per unit economics on a single one, I wouldn't be afraid to open a second one. If you're good with one, you're going to be good with 2, mm-hmm. right? Yeah. And as soon as you make the step where you can finally back away from being in control of that single unit, because when you're no longer on site, it can be kind of scary, right? Yeah. You can't see what's happening. You're not interacting with your clients as much. You have to put a lot more trust in your staff, because when you're there on site, you can take care of anything if you want to, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So this is kind of a difficult curve that everyone has to go through, where they take that step from being a single to a multi, where you have to be able to place that trust in people. You cannot micromanage them. I would suggest having lots of systems in place to set them up for success and accountability for their actions, but you can't be micromanaging them, watching cameras, texting them every minute. You can't be doing that thing, because that'll have the exact opposite effect of what you're trying to accomplish. So my advice for them would be, become the master of your craft, develop excellent systems that work so that those systems can work for you when you're not there working, and then go and apply those systems to multiple units. So my due diligence started quite a long time before I actually made my first purchase, right? It was kind of a journey. So I made the decision that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to pursue something I was passionate about. And, so there were kind of a few options that I was looking at there, just things that I did in my pastime. And so I really started initially looking at places like Biz Buy Sell, investigating different sort of businesses, looking at their P&Ls, analyzing the markets that they're in, the people that are successful versus the people that are not. And that encompassed franchises and independent operators. Now, one of the things that I noticed when I was going through that exercise was that one, franchises had a tendency to be more successful than independent operators, which was a twofold benefit. One, you obviously get more cash flow, but two, if you do ever go to sell your business, you're going to get a better multiple, and a lot more money for it, right? So, when I went through that process, I looked at a lot of different businesses. I was looking at restaurants, I was looking at stuff in the automotive industry, and I really kind of got honed in on the fitness space. And I looked at a lot of different gyms, like I said, independents, a lot of different brands. And it wasn't until I really came in contact with this brand that I found something that really resonated with me. And that's when I made the decision to get involved with it. So one of the things that I've noticed repeatedly with a lot of franchises, because I'm still looking at additional franchises in the food industry, in the automotive and everything, is that I don't find a lot of people that are really focused on the ROI, right? It's very unsettling for me to think that I have to make this big investment and work for 2 years for free before I can even make $1, right? So that's crazy. And to be honest, it blows my mind that people are out there pushing business models that don't allow people to make any money for 2 years, right? So for me, I'm very focused on the numbers. I want to make my money back really quick. I want my ROI to be astronomical. Typically we've been operating an ROI of over 300% per year.
Yeah.
So if you want to get people excited, you need to have a innovative product. You need to have a disruptive product. You have to be differentiated from people around you in some way, right? That you can be differentiated with what you offer or how you offer it. Maybe your service level is better. Maybe your branding is better. Maybe it's just there's nicer decor. You got to have some sort of differentiator over your competition. And it's best if that is somewhat disruptive to the industry, because disruptive changes are what lead to high ROIs, right?
Yeah.
So, but it all comes down to maximizing that ROI. But I would say that if you're not disrupting anything in any way, if you're just trying to do things the same as everybody else, it's going to be very hard to attract the best franchisees.